This is Seth Beyer, section 021, and this is Lab 5, Problem 1, Part 2, I guess, if you want to call it that, where what we're going to be doing is writing a fast move function, and we're going to have 4 inputs instead of 5, since I create this Arduino in every function. We're going to have 4 inputs, which is going to be the x and y of the initial position, and then the x and y of the target position. And we're going to be moving from the initial to the target as fast as we can, which is a straight line until eventually you hit one of the axes of the target position, and then you're just going to follow that axis straight up to the target position. And what I like to do is I first like to create I like to set the point directly to home so that I know exactly where I'm going to be starting from and where I'm going to be working towards. This home function is a little bit different than the one I had in the other video, because this is the original one I had and I just never changed it back to the new one that I made for this fast move. So what happens is I just set the right digital pin towards the back limit switch on the x and y direction, and I just have it step until eventually that limit switch turns on. And then I update the table to show that. And then I move towards the initial spot without tracking at all, which is just taking the x1 and y1 from that and just stepping until eventually we hit that spot. And next is going to be moving towards the target position, and I enabled the tracker for this since this is what you're going to want to really be seeing. And what I have is that if the x2 is greater than the x1, then it's going to step away from the limit switches, if that makes sense. If here is x1 and here is x2, I want to step away. If this was x1 and this is x2, then I want to step back. And so right here, it just figures that out for the x and y part. And then I like to recreate some of these variables to help with the while loop. I recreate x to be the difference between x1 and x2, and I do the same for y. And then I also add 2 counters that I like to use. And so then I go right into moving into a straight line, which is going to be, well, this counter, which is automatically 0 to begin with, is less than x and less than y. It's going to step both in the x and y direction while adding on to the counter to show that it steps. And then it's going to keep doing that until eventually it hits either one of these axes, and then it's just going to follow it. It's just going to follow that axis until it eventually gets to the point. And that's what these few tidbits down here are for. And let me just run this real quick. Fast move, and I just like to do 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, just to show. And then I plug that in, and you can see it obviously moves in a straight line. Let me do it to where it's going to run to a straight line and then eventually have to just jump up. So let's do fast move, let's do 100, 100, and then let's have it go to the x 200, but then y we're going to set to 600, so we're going to see a large vertical jump in this, which obviously we do right there. We see that little bit of straight line right here to get to that 200 point on the x-axis, and then it just climbs vertically until eventually hits the y target position. That's it.